Hello, everyone. Welcome to the interview with the winners series of the first NLUO PHFI Public Health Law Moot. We have with us the winning team of the first edition, that is Government Law College, Mumbai. Today we have Ruhan Shah, Abhishek Raj, and Aman Saraf from the team. Samram?
Yes. So, guys, please tell a brief introduction about yourself. We will start with Aman.
So a brief introduction on myself. I live in Mumbai. I study in Government Law College, and I just finished my second year. So I'm going into my third year, and I I really love law and love litigation especially. So that's something that I'm looking forward to. And whatever internships that I'm planning, etc., I'm focusing on that. So that's something that I'm quite sure of quite early, which I think I'm lucky about. So yeah.
Great.
Great. Ruhan?
Yeah, so exactly the same. I'm also from Mumbai. Well, in fact, Aman and I went to the same school as well. Also in Government Law College, going to my third year now. Yeah, I mean, at least in my case, I am not too shifted towards a particular area of law. I still have to decide what I really want to pursue. But of course, through the Moot itself, I got a really good insight into constitutional law. So that was one thing that I hope will be helpful down the line as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think these are the years where you figure out what you guys need to do, like before you reach the third and fourth year. That's when the existential crisis starts. Abhishek?
Hi. So same, I'm also from Government Law College, Mumbai. The difference is that I'm originally not from. I'm also in my second year, just promoted third year. Basically, so even I'm not so sure about the field of law I'll be entering into. Maybe after a few internships, I'll figure that out. But yeah, this mood really helped a lot because this is the second constitution I went for, and it was really a great experience.
Fantastic, guys. Guys, as we all know, this moot was a little different than the usual moots because of out of 62 teams, only 16 teams got to go ahead post the preliminary rounds. So, like, how did you guys prepare to stand out? Because this was something pretty clear from the very beginning. And what was your strategy for such a tough competition?
So I mean, personally, we didn't do anything specifically different for the 62 teams, in fact, because I mean, we prepared the same way that we would prepare for a moot which had a conventional knockout, which is 16, then 8 go through, then 4, etc. So yeah, I don't think we did specifically anything different per se. We just prepared the normal way. We put in a lot of effort for the memorial specifically. That is something we did different, more effort than we normally put into our memorials because we knew that the memorial marks counted for a lot in the prelim rounds to qualify. So that's something we focused on more.
Right. Do you guys have to add anything, Abhishek or Rohan?
I think he's mainly right. Like, usually most moods which tend to start with like 16 to 20 teams focus more on your speaking. But in this particular case, especially considering how much weightage was given to the mem, I think we put in a lot more effort for that, relatively at least. So that was one major difference.
Yeah, if I can share, as far as I remember, you guys had gotten an extension for it. So, I got your mail and I was supposed to forward it to the memorial evaluator. And I just, the preview option of the mail, I just saw the memorial and I was pretty impressed because, it was a very well formatted. Like, I just went through I think, the table of authorities and I was like, okay, this memo is something. And I think, it's gonna have some really good marks attached to it. So yeah, memorial was sure a best, and you guys also won the best memorial, and it surely worked in your favor, like obviously, and that's really great. So
I mean, that was possible only because you guys gave us the extension. So thank you for that.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, definitely.
We remember
No,
pulling an all-nighter before the submission.
yeah, we are actually glad we did because we got such a good memorial from it. I remember you guys also mentioned we can give the memorial, but we will not do justice to it. And so yeah, that is pretty great. And you guys did justice to it. So yeah, you lived up to your word. So that is great. Samram, you have anything to ask?
So, as it was a virtual round, so you guys must have faced some difficulties at preparatory stage. So if you can tell about that and how you worked on it.
I think the biggest fear we had is that essentially after, all this prep, if someone's internet just happened to crash at the last second, that would be something that we would all really not like. And in fact, like during one of our rounds when we were in the petitioner breakout room, Abhishek's internet actually just disappeared for a while in the middle. So we were like a little panicked about that because then screen sharing and all would become a big problem. Other than that, I think for at least the three of us, all the competitions we've essentially gone for have all been online. So we're a lot more used to this format. If y'all have anything else to add.
Yeah, so I mean, even in GLC, when we organize Moot specifically, in that I think all three of us are part of the Moot Court Association in our college. So we've organized also a lot of Moots online from GLC. So we've got a good understanding about how they work, the time fact, we're used to the fact that time will come in the chat box, and we're used to how to deal with internet issues. And also by that way, we are much more comfortable. And yeah, also like Ruhan said, none of us have actually experienced a proper physical Moot because the 2 years that we've been in college, it's been a pandemic. So nothing different for us for an online platform, really.
The only thing I think was different in this was that we usually have to wait around in the waiting room before the start of the Moot, but you guys shifted us to a different room entirely where we could chat around and stuff. That was, I think, a really good thing.
Yeah, brilliant, guys. I really think, this online mood, your experience with online moods really gave you an edge because most people fluster and because they're literally speaking to a screen. So, yeah, that I think it helped you guys a lot. So, guys, what do you think your X factor was as a team? Because, what things worked out in favor as opposed to the other teams? So if I had to I was in a courtroom during the finals, and the way I think you both interacted with the judges and hustled through all the curveballs they had to throw with a smile was something really commendable. I mean, it was a very hot final bench you faced, including Mr. Mulli Neelakantan and Anand Grover sir. I mean, I was scared for you all, but you handled it pretty well. And what was going in your minds and how did you prepare for the finals? Did you have a very specific strategy that you followed for the finals?
Look, firstly, when it comes to having an X factor, the good thing about our team is, we've all been friends for since college started now. So the good thing is you can insult the other person, you can yell at them, and the other person doesn't feel bad. Both ways, you can completely tell them on their face that they're wrong, what they're doing is going to make us lose, and the other person takes it well and works on it. So that's a good chemistry that we have, and I always feel that's the most important thing in a Moot team, because if you don't have that, then it can all become very, very uncomfortable. But coming specifically to how we prepare for the finals, honestly, after the semi-finals, the three of us just got on a call and we just spoke because firstly, Abhishek somehow pulled off a miracle, whereas he got us petitioner again for the finals after the semis.
Yeah.
And that's why we were so relaxed after that. So we just spoke and we just tried to, get all the thoughts out of our head and just calm down before the finals.
I think the main thing we also tend to tell people who are going for Moots from GLC as well, because as part of the Moot Court Association, that's a bit of our job as well, is that a very large aspect of being successful in a Moot comes down to the team dynamics, like even Aman had mentioned. And essentially the good thing is since the three of us have worked together so much over the past year, this was just it was really comfortable and ended up just being more fun than it was actually going through a tedious thing. So that was pretty good.
Yeah, true that. Abhishek?
Regarding the finals, I think one thing, so for any question the judges were asking, we could make out of the faces, like if Ruhan knows the answer and if he's planning to write down a rebuttal or something. For most of the time, I knew that Ruhan is writing a rebuttal for the questions they are asking the respondent or whatever they're saying. So I was not texting her, but for few which I knew that it might be helpful if we used to send. So I think it was because of our chemistry that worked out.
True. You guys are a live example why team dynamics and why
Yes.
a good team matters in a moot, and you cannot
Moot.
just do moot with any random team that is allotted, right? That is really nice. And yeah, speaking of the rebuttals, like we all were like collectively impressed by your final round rebuttal, like that Aman gave, if I'm correct. That was like, it was very powerful. It was in a flow, and I remember like it stunned a lot of
It was a
people. So yeah.
3 minute rebuttal. It was a 3 minute rebuttal, if I remember.
Yeah, they saved 3 minutes for rebuttal because they knew that they will be having a lot to speak. And it's not like, you took some time in between. You were just going on speaking and speaking, and the judges were like, okay, 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 that's really nice. Like it was very powerful. And I think rebuttals play a lot of, a major role in deciding who the winner is, because it's the last shot. And if you get it right, then most of the times you get the mood. So yeah, that was really good.
I mean,
So
every round, Ruan and I generally are like, arguing in the chat box only, let me go, let me go. So this time he was nice enough to let me go for it. And I mean, both of these guys texted me all their points. So that's why it was very easy for me to convey it.
yeah, like private chat option is a boon. Like even in physical moods, I think there is an option of chit passing, but you cannot pass the chits as many times as you can private chat. So I think that was a complete showcase of a teamwork, and that is where online mood takes the takes the award of better mood. So yeah. So Samram?
So, guys, as this was the first edition of the Moot and it was organized by a center, not the Moot Court Society of our college. And it was a good experience for us because I haven't organized a Moot in this 3 years of college. So, if you can share your experience, how was this Moot and how we have organized it? And what we have we lived up to the expectations or not?
You want to
Um,
go?
yeah, I'll go. So one thing I will say is that, of course, like I previously mentioned, the three of us also for GLC do organize moots. Like we're part of the MCA for the college. So we especially know how difficult it is to have a competition, especially for such a large number of teams. Like the level of just the timing and everything involved is very, very difficult. Even communication becomes really tough. So I think it was an excellent job because everything started on time. Everything was short, concise. It was pretty good in every possible sense. And I, especially as Abhishek had also mentioned, really like the breakout rooms where you could talk to your team just before the round starts, because that's something we don't do, and I think we're going to adopt it probably after this.
Yeah, I mean, I
It's
have to agree with everything he said. The organization was really good, so no complaints about that.
It's wonderful. The other thing I loved is that you guys gave us one day, like between the rounds. So we had like pretty much time to prepare. That was a very good thing. Usually what happens, prelim 1, prelim 2, and the quarters in the same.
right, like so
Right.
we got a very unexpected amount of registrations. We were not prepared for it. Had we been prepared for it, we would have definitely kept a team cap or a memorial qualifier, and we would have had the prelims the traditional way, like from both the sides. But I think it worked out for the best because all the teams, like the teams were from all the parts of India, and we also it was a really surprise to us, there are so many colleges who want to move, and this online space has brought them together, because in physical moods there are traveling restrictions and there are everything, but then now since it's an online mode, most of the teams were able to participate, and we thought that we almost thought of introducing a memorial qualifier, but we thought let's not rob the speaking experience, like the oral, like Moot is all about the oral presentation. So yeah, we decided to go ahead, and but then you guys passed so many hurdles, like from 62 to 16, 16 to 4, and then 4 to 2. So yeah, that is amazingly commendable. And I would like to tell my views like NLUO has another moot, International Maritime Arbitration moot, and GLC won this edition as well. So GLC has won 2 flagship moots of NLUO. So do you guys have any advice, tips for your viewers, like how to ace NLUO moots the GLC way? Like, like how do you do it?
I don't think I'm the person to give anybody tips. On my day, I can be equally terrible, so I'll leave it to these guys.
Leave it to Rohan. Okay.
Ruhan.
Yeah, they're both being extremely modest. But see, one thing I would say, like in terms of preparation, at least the big thing in my eyes is that you always go with the team you're comfortable with. And honestly, like you said, of course, like any moot will have its hurdles, right? But provided you're with a team you can be comfortable with, and it's actually easy to do the competition with them, I think that's the most important factor, more than even the preparation, because it just simplifies everything else.
You should add something, guys. Why are you just pushing all the emotes things to him?
Fine. I'll just say one thing which I have not just not tips for moods, but just something to keep in mind, which I have experienced a lot while I do a lot of public speaking, is that it can be very, very unnerving, especially when the judges are asking you questions. So I think just one thing to keep in mind through it all is that, the judges will ask you questions and grill you even if you're right. And even if they like the point you're making, and on the contrary, they may, try to fluster you more if they like the point you're making. So that's one thing you should keep in mind, that just go on talking shamelessly what you prepared. If it's right, you'll do well. If it's wrong, you won't, but don't get flustered by what they're saying. So just keep in mind the confidence that you need to have.
Abhishek, any concluding remarks?
One general thing I could add is like for most of the moods, what people tend to do is they usually had one or two practices, but like Rohan and Amar had like multiple practices on the same day. This is what everyone should do. Practice for oral run before the start. Number of the other practices for the oral run.
Yeah, true. Like nothing beats the innumerable practice sessions, especially in a mood, the research, like it's the hardest part to, speak before your researcher because he knows everything in and out. Like you can give rounds in front of other people, but they don't know the problem as well as your researchers does. So that
they knew the problem better than you.
Our
yeah.
researcher is actually too nice. So when you're practicing, also not one question did he ask us. He just let us speak. So it was just me and Ruhan being mean to each other, and this guy is just too nice. So he stays quiet, and then the end of it, he'll tell you, you said this thing, and I had an issue with it. And then he starts off after we're done with all the issues he had.
Right. But then, yeah, still you guys managed to be the winners of this moot. And it's really, again, I'm out of words for your performance. Like, I was in, I think, three of your rounds, like in one of your prelims and then your semis and then the finals. And like, guys had that consistency. Like, no matter how hot or how cold the bench was, your strategy never changed. So that is one thing I think we can take away from you, like, is you never change your methods for, it's like take the round as it comes. So yeah, that is really great that you guys exhibited, and congratulations again. I mean, really good work. And I hope and I wish you all the best for your future endeavors. And yeah, take care,
Thank you
guys.
so much. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
very much.